I do not consider I try to be very aware and hyper cognizant of who I am, in the sense of just a regular ass person. Like, I think I think there are a lot of delusions of grandeur that can float around, the space of like personas or public figures or commentators. And I feel that way, especially in like media commentators, like people confusing like their role, like they're sharing political thought processes with a movement to being movement leaders. I think that sometimes there are mistakes like that that happen. And I try to like remind myself that I am adding to a discourse, right? There's nothing new, fundamentally new, that I am saying that someone else hasn't said, right? Like ideas, Audre Lorde talked about that. They're like, there are no new pains, there are no new ideas, there are only new ways to make yourself heard, to make things felt. And that's basically what I'm trying to do. And to some degree, I've tried. I want there to be, and I think there can be, a lot of unity on the left, on the internet left. I think there is. I think the thing is like the nuance, right? Is I think there's a different internet left. There's a white internet left. I think the internet left that we talk about in general is white. You know what I mean? And I don't think it is reflective of what is the larger, like, what is leftism or political left, because there's a difference between black leftists, and I also think there's a lot more different diversity of viewpoints, you see, because black people on average are on the left, like in general, versus what is a kind of subgroup of within the left of white people, but they become the centered who control this little town square. And it's interesting for me because I consider myself on the black left, which I consider myself different. I consider as a different set of, but I have a very white, I'm in the white internet life leftist town square. I'm very in it. And I'm grateful for that, because I think for most people, sometimes, especially for black people, we have a hard time getting ourselves heard there, right? Like, black people don't really need me preaching to the choir. Like they know what I'm saying. They know what it is, what is this experience is, so it needs to be heard by white people, and oftentimes white people are less likely to let us be heard in those spaces or to get us there. They like to pick one of us here and there. So I'm grateful for the fact that I'm able to have the audience and the platform that I have and share these things. I think also, though, that can be really frustrating to me personally. And something I'm still always grappling with, how to get used to, and like how to be okay with, or how to, continue wanting to be in that space. And I don't have it all together figured out. It's something that I'm constantly breaking down and trying to figure out how to navigate. And like sometimes I'm up here with it, like I'm on, and I'm like, oh fuck all this, and then I'm like, oh okay, I guess I'll be all right, and blah 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 blah. So I don't know. That's a real screaming consciousness for, I don't know.
Well, I do get the impression that you're always learning and that you're one of these folks who's a student of life, right? Like you
Yeah.
haven't gone, oh, I figured it out, done. This will be
No.
my position from now on, but you stick to your guns. I mean, you
Yeah.
really do. You don't take anything off anybody. You push back on the pushback. I'm sure
Yeah.
you get indication that you've brought people into your way of thinking, or that you
Yeah.
have influenced people positively. But I wonder, is there any one person out there who can just instantly shift your way of thinking? Like we think we got it figured out. We're pretty sure that this is the right take. And then somebody you really respect and admire has a different take or an alternate perspective. Can that shift yours? Like I
That
know,
will that will innately make me switch mine.
yeah,
No.
or at least reconsider your stance on something.
I think, honestly, believe it or not, I have a lot of respect for a lot of different people's argument styles, or the way that they present information, even if I don't, or the way that they craft arguments, even if I don't agree sometimes, or I don't, like their whole school of thought. So I think I have that more often, that I like see a commentator and be like, I didn't think about that perspective, or I didn't think, or I respect the way they navigated some bullshit. You know what I mean? I'd be like, I see what you did there. You think you slick. You know what I mean? I like how you structured that. I can see why that would be persuasive to somebody else. I think there are lots of people, like, I'll say this, like what I kind of do with Olay and Friends on my show is there are lots of people that I talk to regularly that sway my opinion. Like for me, the answer to that is Masai Lord, like who's not a
Mm.
media person, is my mentor. Masai, yes, Masai has such a grounding. Like he has such a major role on like what I think, or different perspectives or arguments. And I'll often reference, like in lots of interviews, I'll be like, my mentor said, or even in my Olay and Friends with Cornell West, like people, like the point I made about feeling like third parties don't should try and win place spots in Congress first. My mentors who made that argument to me earlier. So very often from the time I started my media career, like before my very first rising appearance, I call my mentor and I'll like tell him what a topic is. I'll be like, this is what it's about. What do you think? And let me get those perspectives. And I kind of do that a lot in general. People like with my career and everything. Like if you see me, I have a big interview that's gonna come out on my Illuminati this week. I'm not gonna tell y'all who it is yet. I'll tell
Oh,
y'all like people by like Wednesday because
little
I'm very
tease.
excited for it. But like before that interview, I called up like my friends from that same community. Like, what would you want to hear? What would you want to ask? I like will call all the different people I respect and get those thoughts. And I'm usually astounded to find out, oh shit, like which is kind of what Olay and Friends is. Like there are lots of people that I talk to regularly. I'll call, like I'll text like my Olay and Friends Cornell West episode was born out of me texting all of those people like, what you thinking? What's up? I don't know what I'm thinking about this yet, but let's talk about it. That's what I do in my regular life. So I was like, let me bring that to the show. Like even my last episode, like my friend Jay Sean on there is an archaeologist. My friend Nia is an employment lawyer, like who's on there, like all kinds of different people. So yeah, lots of people like that have sway me a lot in thought. They're just not the people that sway everybody else. They're not the people in the internet town square.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because there are people out there who I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure my opinion aligns with them, my views, my principles. And then they'll say something like, but there are good cops. It's just a few bad apples. And that's where this is. I want to know what you think about this. Are there mostly good cops with a few
No,
bad apples, or
I
because
don't care
I'm
about it.
coming around too, there are no good cops,
It's a
like at least
fictional.
systemically.
It doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter. Like it's irrelevant. Like that's the thing. The whole other good, it's irrelevant. It's not about. We're not having a conversation because saying there are a few good cops is like being like, yeah, there are some good people in the world. Like, of course there fucking are.
Right.
There's nothing you
Right.
can say that's fucking true about every single individual. We're not having a conversation about like, you know what I'm saying? Like if I said, oh, slave masters and slave people, you wouldn't be like, some of the slave masters were very nice.
Right.
You
No,
see what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
because
yeah.
we're attacking the institution. Exactly. It has nothing to do. Yes, there are. Listen, I was having this conversation with one of my friends because one of their family members is a cop, and they were telling me how their family member and me actually tend to have like agree or talk about similar things, and I was like, yeah, I'm not unaware that a lot of people who decide to go be police or prosecutors believe that they're on the right side of history, or they believe that they're doing the right thing or whatever. We're indoctrinated. We're literally educated in a society that tells people that they're the good guys. Of course, I believe that there are a fucking bunch of people that believe that. I think they're wrong though. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I'm not. I know that there are people with well intentions who've went this path, but I still think that their path is destructive and that they're wrong. So yeah, like that's where it is at for me. It's like, yeah, are there individually good cops? Yeah, but at the end of the day, if what they're tasked to do is some bad shit, then it's gonna be ass. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.